Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. Forged in the Barrens is rapidly approaching, and I've been working on some theory crafts looking into what can various classes in Hearthstone do when Forged in the Barrens is here. And in this video I'm going to take a look at Demon Hunter. First of all, obviously, Demon Hunter has the only deck that doesn't lose a single card in the rotation, and that is the Lifesteal OTK Demon Hunter. I actually have a gameplay video of this exact same list on this channel already, and yeah, it's a pretty sweet list. You just survive and then you kill people with Ilgenot and Moag Artificers and some lifesteal spells and boom, people just die. And a deck that doesn't lose anything in a standard rotation, that's really a rare sight, and we'll see what's going to happen with this one. In this list that I've been using, there is one tech card, there's the Acidic Swamp Ooze. So I've been looking at those new sigil cards and thinking whether they would add something to this deck. Overall, Demon Hunter is not getting many cards that would actually fit this archetype, but the sigils might be able to do something. So depending on whether the ooze is actually going to be needed, that's one potential replacement. Demon Hunter has a lot of aggro cards as well, so aggro Demon Hunter is almost certainly going to be something in Forged in the Barrens as well. And this is like what I would envision aggro Demon Hunter to look like. Fury looks like a really sweet replacement for Twin Slice. Situationally, it's even stronger than Twin Slice, although sometimes you appreciate the flexibility of cutting the buff into two pieces. Then there are basically two ways that you could build an aggro Demon Hunter. You can either build it with Skull of Gul'dan, or you can go for a little bit lower curve and not include the skull. So if you go with the skull, I believe that you're going with the skull, Polkelt, Ilgenot, and Aldrachi Warblades. That just gives the aggro Demon Hunter such a powerful finisher. You play the Polkelt, you get your skull, you play your skull, you pick up your Ilgenot, you pick up your Stilt Steppers, Clavesmiths, Warblades, you just boom, hit face hard. If you were not going for Ilgenot, there's an option to also go for Kane. Kane might also fit into a faster list, a little bit lower curve list, no skull, no Polkelt, maybe running something like Acrobatics instead. And that sort of list you could also use stuff like Marrow Slicers, because you wouldn't mind having those soul fragments in. So definitely two alternative paths, but I believe this one is the better approach. But of course only testing will tell. For a while it looked like Soul Demon Hunter would die with rotation, but Demon Hunter is actually getting some nice cards that fit really well into the archetype. Sigil of Silence in particular, at the start of your next turn silence all enemy minions, and there's no way for the opponent to interact with this. So once you play this, at the start of next turn everything will be silenced, there will be no taunts on the way, so you can just boom hit face. And when you have stuff like weapons, and you have stuff like Ilgenot, and then you have stuff like Fury, which is going to be more mana efficient than Twin Slice once you get to higher mana totals, then that makes me think that okay, Soul Demon Hunter might still have a game. The card that they're losing that's most difficult to replace is Blade Dance. That's been the thing that kills big minions for you, so how do you respond to that? I'm thinking maybe you could try Sigil of Flame. It doesn't exactly kill big minions, but it still prevents the opponent from snowballing the board. And in the Corset there's that new 8 mana 8/8 Rush, which could be an option. I'm just a little uncertain whether it's going to be needed. But overall, Soul Demon Hunter looks like it's still going to be viable. There are a couple of alternatives how to build it, with that Sigil, maybe that 8/8, maybe Kane, maybe not. But overall, life is not looking bad for this archetype either. Demon Hunter is also getting a bunch of new Outcast support. Blizzard already attempted to make Outcast Demon Hunter a thing in Madness the Darkmoon Faire, but that failed. It just didn't have the strength needed. Will it have the strength needed now? I mean, Kurtr's Ashfallen in particular impresses me a lot. Velcry attack the left and rightmost enemy minions, Outcast immune this turn, that can be such a huge swing turn. And Outcast Demon Hunter still has the redeemed Pariah, and now with Questing Adventures, Edwin's also stuff like that gone, redeemed Pariah is the biggest growing threat that you can play in this game. But its activation condition of playing Outcast cards has sometimes just proven to be too difficult. I'm also a little uncertain whether the new Corset legendary, Corse Bloodthorn, is actually going to be playable in this deck. Like, it can be repeatable damage and healing, but can you really spend all that mana in playing Corvus again and again and then playing more Outcast cards as well, without getting any permanent board presence? Outcast Demon Hunter naturally has to be a fairly low mana curve deck, because otherwise you can't get your cards into Outcast positions and play a lot of them. And that has been the guiding principle behind building this specific list. But we'll see how it goes. Then there's the new Demon Hunter archetype that Blizzard is trying to support, which is Deathrattle Demon Hunter. That has not been a thing before. Demon Hunter had Renowned Performer, and that was it for Deathrattle. So what is Deathrattle Demon Hunter even all about? There's Razorboard, Deathrattle, summon a Deathrattle, meaning it costs 3 or less from your hand. There's Beastmaster, summon a Deathrattle, meaning it costs 4 or less from your hand. And then the Deathspeaker Blackthorn, summon 3 Deathrattle, means it costs 5 or less from your deck. But there's very little Deathrattle support. You're really grasping at straws trying to find those Deathrattle cards, so it's kind of hard to imagine that this would actually be a thing in the upcoming meta. Maybe in the next expansion, but unfortunately the Barrens it's still a little bit hard to see how this would work. The way I would envision this to work is that you just have a bunch of these Deathrattle cards and they summon more Deathrattle cards, so you just play a very tempo-based game. You just keep getting more stuff on the board, and your Deathrattle stuff also summons more stuff on the board. So you're really difficult to deny, you're really difficult to drive off. If I could use more Deathrattle cards that summon other cards, I would. But there's also a bunch here that just give you stuff into your hand, like Sneaky Delinquent and Fishy Flyer. But those are pretty much what you have. There's also an opportunity to run Vectus in this deck, get some more Deathrattle effects going from there, and Talon Fordring. And Talon Fordring can tutor for your Deathspeaker Blackthorn, which in turn can then give you a pretty sweet swing turn. So maybe just having that board and retaining it, maybe that's going to be enough, even though it's still a little bit hard to see how it all works out. Those are all the archetypes that I see coming for Demon Hunter. Obviously playtesting will reveal tons of things very quickly. So the decks are going to evolve a lot, but that's what I'm going to start the new expansion with. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more.